Are you exhausted from endlessly pouring yourself into something you want a certain result from in your life that never quite seems to manifest? In fact, it actually feels like it's moving further and further away, leaving you depleted, frustrated, and friggin' annoyed. And because we have been conditioned to believe that we must now try even harder, people please even more, work longer hours, convince others of our value and worth, we create a deeply seated, energetic push-pull that actually keeps everything we want to see appear in our reality at a distance. Yet we do it over and over again. But after today, my friends, we no longer chase, we attract. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Izzy, your soul energy alchemist, and I'm here to help you embrace your IZ-NESS. The lengths we have gone to for the partner, the money, the body, the back pain, the bad knee, the material possessions that we subconsciously use to stroke our ego, to validate our right to be here with things like social status, income potential, and acceptance from what is occurring outside of ourselves. I must do all the things so I can have all the things, and then I will be all the things. But in order to stop the madness, we must reprioritize these thought patterns from the doing and having, then being, to being. Then the having and the doing are interchangeable. Their order is irrelevant. Well, why is that? The doing and the having are fear-based. They are of the physical dimension. And while there isn't anything wrong with them, we go after them with an attachment to outcome and control, imposing our heavy stuff onto it and pushing it out of reach with the lack mentality we have been speaking into existence. A wanting or needing the end game to look and feel a certain way, thereby ignoring the most important part of achieving any of it, the being. Being is presence, your soul. The place of non-duality, where no equal and opposite reaction to every action is. And that's all physics, by the way. Win or lose, I want it, I don't want it, happy, sad, and so on. Presence is the place of receiving, where the constructs of past, future, linear time, such as when, then, or if, do not exist. When you are being, you are allowing. You are transmuting your point of attraction because you are stepping back and standing in your energetic frame, focusing inward, opening your heart and vibrationally aligning to what is meant for you from this higher state of consciousness, where you don't have to actually enforce a single thing. You are magnetic. And according to Newton's first law of motion, magnetism means you can assume the force that pushes against or the force that pulls toward. And this is great news. I mean, it puts you in the driver's seat. You have your own personal GPS. You get to decide where your energy goes. Because where your energy goes, your energy flows. And so by bringing your awareness into your body, you shift the direction of that energetic pathway. Sort of like banging a U-turn in mid-traffic. Picture a door that says push, and you push the door, and the door opens away from you. And if it says pull, well, you get the idea. But for most of us, we've been stuck in a revolving door, pushing and pushing and pushing, only to feel relief when we finally jump out and onto the sidewalk and off that hamster wheel. And yes, pushing away has its place too when needed. But the pull, oh man, that is where all the really cool shit happens. When I was 16, I met a boy. He was, well, let's just say I was smitten beyond. He was older than me, and when you're teenagers, a 3-year difference is a big deal. So that was his way out maybe, but that was the thing. But my heart exploded because, he was and still is so easy to love as a human being. And with young girl naivete and sheer immaturity, I was obsessed with him. Everything and anything revolved around this person. He became part of my tight circle, so I saw him all the time. I cringe at some of the desperate attempts I made to get his attention, and I got his attention because he did adore me, but it just never happened, and we remained friends. Back then, it just tore me up because he showed me so much love, and maybe with mixed signals, which weren't mixed at all. My energy was so smothering that he couldn't approach me even if, he wanted to. Until I unconsciously and with maturity and time completely took my focus off of him. Here he comes. After 2 years, he began proclaiming his love for me in our local bar. Well, I was there with someone else, telling me he'd go to any lengths for me and saying the words I longed to hear. But it was too late. I had moved on energetically, no longer desperate for validation and worth, but with mad love for each other. We still have a solid friendship till this day. I mean, we are lifers. And you may have experienced that when someone is pushing onto you. You automatically feel an urge to pull back. Great example, car dealers. Whenever I have to go and deal with and look for a car, I am immediately armed up. And so as soon as I step on the lot and they come toward me, my immediate reaction is to pull back. And I will make very clear what I need them to do if they want to experience me coming forward. So that dynamic is pretty funny, but at the end of the day, it's a really good example of how the energy works. And when you're feeling someone coming, it's really just a turnoff, in so many ways. When we come from a place of not giving a hoot, you're unfazed. You're good either way. You can pretty much sit back and watch it all unfold in your favor. Forget the saying, I'll believe it when I see it. That is a complete mislead, because you must believe it in order to see it first. Another example of, standing back in your frame and expecting things to happen is, when we moved from California back to New Jersey, I went on a job interview, and it was for floral design that I've had 25 years experience with, and we needed a transition. I needed that transition job. And so when I went there, I didn't really feel like dealing with, looking for work. And this is going back a long time, early 2000s. And so the job interview process was much more, cut and dry. But when I walked in there, I pretty much told the my boss, who ended up being my boss, said, you're gonna give me this job. And he laughed sort of, but I just said, well, I came with a non-committal energy and a confidence that he just couldn't ignore. And although I wasn't the only interview, and certainly not the last one he had scheduled, I was hired because I made it very clear to him that I would have this job. And I did chuckle, but he took me seriously, obviously, and that's what happened. But it's those kinds of things that energetically, I wasn't pushing onto him, but I stood back in my frame and sort of let him know what my boundaries were, and like what I was expecting, and speaking into existence what I wanted. And see, when you relax into that present moment awareness and realize the true power you embody, the world is your oyster. I mean, your job, first and foremost, is to surrender to the guidance and intuitive signals from your soul that allow the resolution and freedom to surface because you've lifted your agenda off of it. So now it can breathe. My final words for today: just be. And as you prepare that garden, the butterflies will come. Okay, guys, that's a wrap. If you dig my vibe, please like and subscribe. And remember to show gratitude for this day and always do everything from your badass rock and roll heart. Until next time, I thank you.